You got it. I have so much to say about Starfield.
Huh?
I have so much to say about it.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. If you want to talk about it for a long time, you can. But
Sure, fuck it.
it'll be a good title if you want. I don't know if you're going to title and thumbnail this thing like a news thing, or if you're just going to be like podcast.
I think it's just going to be podcast.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe this isn't Inside Gamescast material. Hey, welcome to the Inside Gamescast, by the way.
Oh, is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, I'm just
Nice.
I wanted a feeling of just you're just sitting down, and what better feeling than not actually properly editing the intro. Oh boy, I'm stumbling over more my words. We got a podcast, everybody.
Don't worry about it. It's all right. They're here. That's all right. They're here for it. You and I've been making content all day, and now we're making a podcast.
Yeah, it's 11:16 p.m.
It's very late, and that's not a big deal. Like the reason we're doing it is because we enjoy doing this,
Podcast
and
After Dark.
we're always trying. Oh, are we going to talk about After Dark stuff?
The video game. Wait, no, there were like screensavers called After Dark.
Well, we used to do a thing. Really want some behind the scenes stuff. Attack of the Show.
Oh.
I think they called it Around the Net After Dark.
Oh.
And you know that James Willems produced the segment, and it used to be like this really like borderline pornographic. I think it's called ATN After Dark. I want to say borderline pornographic thing that we would put on a video from the internet, but it had like, a girl in a bathing suit or something. And we did it for like a few months, and poor James had to produce that thing. It wasn't he didn't come up with the idea. It was just his fault. I promise you it's not on the internet.
Damn.
There's no way. Yeah. But so there's a behind the scenes for you thing from way back at G4. It was called ATN After Dark. It's ATN Around the Net After Dark. But
I'm going with the other After Dark, the Flying Toasters.
oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. So much nostalgia. Jeez.
Well, that was a throwback.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, now that I'm looking at the toasters, I've lost my notes.
Yeah, I was going to say we can't see the notes now.
Haven't even introduced the podcast yet.
Do you want to introduce her, or do you want to talk about a topic that I can talk about immediately?
Oh yeah.
What do you want?
Well, give me like a minute. Let's do this right.
Yeah, you got it. Go
We're
for it.
professionals, goddammit.
It's all you do. Yeah, go for it.
Welcome to the Inside Gamescast, episode number 1, featuring your hosts Bruce Green and Lawrence Sontag. Hello, everyone. I'm Lawrence Sontag. Welcome to the Inside Gamescast, episode number 1. It's March 8th, 2023, 11:18 in the PM here on the west coast of the United States. I'm sitting here in I never thought about what this room is called.
It's kind of like your
streamy room.
It's not your living room because your living room's somewhere else.
Yeah.
This is just like maybe your dining room, your den.
It's the liminal space between my bedroom and my kitchen.
It's the den, the Lawrence den,
the casting den. Ugh, boy, that had a.
I don't like that.
Did not hang in the mouth good at all.
Like
I had mouthfeel on that one. This is a podcast. We're launching this as part of our revamp on some of the content we're doing with our Patreon. But we're releasing this to everybody, and we're going to do that every month. It's a podcast about video games.
Oh my gosh.
And I want to keep it about video games. I'm going to be anal about it. And it'll be a bit because it's impossible to just talk about video games.
No, you're right. And by the way, we already went off.
Yeah, that's the problem.
The very first thing I talked about was not video games, although it was video games related on G4. G4 was a video game television network, just so you know.
Was it?
Absolutely. It started as a video game television network. When I watched it in 2002, it was, there's a whole show. You've got to know this. Cinematech?
Yeah, no, yes.
The whole show, Cinematech.
I'm very familiar
produced by our friend Jeremy Hoffman.
Oh, really?
It was just video game cutscenes on television.
And it was awesome. It was the best background noise.
It blew my mind when I saw it on television. I couldn't believe it.
It was my favorite. I have a media project on my stream called Media Tech.
Oh yeah.
Where it's a bunch of random clips of which game cutscenes are a huge part because that was so inspiring to me. I guess it tickled something specific in my ADHD rattled brain.
Of course.
This was like before you had a stimulation monitor, before you had a comfy streamer up while you were playing games. So that droning noise of Cinematech was a delightful companion to grinding in World of Warcraft.
It was. Well, this was before.
It was. Yeah. No.
Years before.
Yeah. Cinematech. I remember I first saw it in 2002.
Yeah.
Because that's the first time I got cable.
That's what this is. G4 was what inspired me to work in television because I was like, I watched it and was like, holy shit. I was like, I could do this. I could definitely do this. And I ended up working at G4 a couple of years later. So.
Wow.
There you go.
It was just that simple.
I mean, like, well, I applied there for months and like.
Isn't it frustrating though in life when you're like, you see something and you're like, what the fuck? I can I could do that.
Yeah.
Give me a week and I could do that. Although I feel like
Well, it
most
took
times,
me years.
Yeah, most times when people think that, they're dead wrong.
It took me years though.
You're just
so.
sitting there like watching a drummer. You're like, I could fucking do that. You just grab sticks and hit drums.
Drum. Oh well, no, that's wow.
See, it's just one stick in two sticks in two hands.
Well, this was
ta. How hard is that?
But again, like on television, it was just video game cutscenes back to back, and I was like, I mean, come on. But nobody had done it, so it was innovative on television, but also it had never been done. So little in column A, little column B is easy, but also it never been done. Now, who cares? Everybody can do it.
Yeah. No one cares now. The streams on my MediaTek blocks are a good indication of why Cinematech didn't buoy up G4.
That's true.
As a network.
You know what? Well, I don't want to talk about video games. So you know what buoyed up G4, right? Cops and Cheaters.
I love Cops and Cheaters. Two shows that are hard to watch nowadays. Well, Cops got canceled. Propaganda my ass. Well, actually, yeah, it does make you actually think a little bit better of cops because they're not brutalizing anybody.
Well, some of them are human.
We're not talking about video games, man.
All right, sorry. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Starfield.
Let's do it. I can't wait. So when does this podcast come out?
Soon,
like in a few days?
Yeah.
Okay, so Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield. Things are surely not going to change in the next couple of days about Starfield.
No way. All right, so it's been delayed. Now this is the second delay. Is this the second or the third? Do you know?
I don't know. I think November, you got to get technical about what a delay is.
Well, November 11th.
Yeah, then they said it was going to be like first
half. So then so it's 2 delays at least. Now it's delayed to September. What is it? 6th or something?
I know
you got to check your notes.
Away from these toasters, man.
September.
What if I could do both though? Oh,
what do you do? Wow,
this is taking off. This podcast is.
Are you going to put this in?
Fucking hit the jets.
Is this part of the video?
Maybe.
It doesn't have to be.
I feel like I'm settling into a groove.
So we get a Starfield Direct. Sorry, I don't want to talk about video games. So a Starfield Direct on June 11th.
Thank you. That's fine.
We're gonna get.
Sorry, I messed it up again.
That's fine. We'll get 20 minutes, 30 minutes of Starfield gameplay. Right. Todd Howard will tell us that you can do everything in the universe in Starfield in June. It'll be awesome. I'm very excited. And then Starfield comes out September 6th. So what I wanted to say was, first and foremost. Do you think why are you looking at Sonic? Do you think?
Yeah. What?
Wow.
Sorry, I was looking at Sonic.
Okay. This is just like Cinematech. Do you think that Starfield?
Yeah. Starfield
will be a working product by September? What do you think? I want to hear your opinion because I've got mine, so I want to hear yours.
I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything in any of the demos that showed a gameplay scope beyond what they ought to be able to deliver in like fully functioning fashion. I didn't like the ground warfare looked like it was fully instanced. The space combat was like above a planet. Very hard to mess. Like you can't have collision and like gravity errors if there's no gravity. So I don't know. Flight games seem like they're pretty easy to do. So you have like a flight game and then you have a pretty heavily like instanced off action area
with a Fallout area.
Yeah. They've made this game before.
Absolutely.
And they're just stitching together a few different like mini games and it's a full space game, which is awesome.
That's right.
But they should be able to make that, right?
I mean,
I guess you say that
they should, but I mean also, we always say this too, game dev is hard.
Yeah.
So and I was just talking about this on stream, but I'll say it again, like people are like, because they're saying what you're saying, which is like they should be able to make the space game. They should be able to make the No Man's Sky, but Fallout.
Yeah.
And the thing is they don't have the motivation to, because they make Fallout, they make Skyrim, they make those games and they sell millions. So like, why would they ever be like, you know what? We're going to level this up, make it harder on ourselves. It's like, no way. Because they sell this game's going to sell like crazy and it will. So it's going to, and I don't think it's going to be worse than Fallout 76. I definitely do not think that at launch. So I think Starfield's going to be kind of what we already expect. And I also think it's going to be broken. I think it's going to be broken very much like a Bethesda game normally is at launch.
Well, if it's going to be broken, it ought to justify it, right?
Well, that's what I was trying
Fallout
to
76 was at least online MMOE.
Yeah, but it was terrible at launch.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
But at least it was biting off something new.
It's true.
Like true. Star Citizen busted, but it's biting off a lot new.
It's true.
I guess that's been the recurring frustration with Bethesda games, though, is it's like the functionality scope didn't quite get bigger, and somehow it's still buggy.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be. That's what I've been saying to people is just, like, don't buy it. Like, if you're complaining about it, just don't do it. Like, don't. I think it's going to be really fun, and I can't wait. And modders are going to fix the game like they always do. It's going to be the same old loop that we know and love from Bethesda. But I don't think this second delay makes any difference. And that's another thing too that I see a lot of people are always like, they're always like, you know what?
You think it's going to be buggy regardless? Like if they released it 5 years from now, still buggy?
Oh, absolutely. Huh. And that's the thing is that, like, you know, like people are always like, what's the quote from, is it Miyamoto?
Yeah.
It's like a delayed, what is it? A release game is bad forever, but a delayed game is, I don't know, whatever.
Only bad once.
Yeah, something like that. And they keep delaying the game and like, I want us all to remember that they've delayed it twice, and then when it comes out, it's broken. Because then we can be like, why did they delay it? Like, I'm of the mind that just put the game out, let it be broken, and then fix it. 2 months, 3 months isn't going to make a difference. At least that's what I think. But I'm no game dev.
Yeah.
So.
The frustrating thing is there are so many more considerations to when a game launches aside from just the quality of the
marketing,
which is so weird. Yeah, you need to align a lot of stuff behind it.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe they had some other smaller releases planned for summer.
Redfall.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Redfall.
Yeah,
maybe they're scooting Starfield out of the way of Redfall.
Yeah.
Maybe they're actually doing what everybody wants and like trying to create some marketing space for a product they're trying to get off the ground that they believe in.
Yeah, maybe.
It's complicated. It's fun to kind of sit on our sides and try to deduce what motivates those decisions. I guess one way or the other, you gotta. If you're a developer, you're probably happy to have an extra 3 months.
Absolutely.
Or actually, no, I take that back. Man, you can think yourself out anything.
Really?
There were some developers that were like, "Oh, if a game gets delayed, it just makes crunch longer."
Oh yeah, you're right. I've heard that. Yes, I have heard that.
I wonder. There's just no way to know, man.
Hopefully, I mean, we haven't heard reports of Bethesda crunch, have we?
No, but I tend to think that it's like any developer that's shipped a game in the last 10 years is probably crunched. I think it's pretty much that ubiquitous.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, you don't have to worry on behalf of folks that like you probably never met and won't. I don't know. At some point, you got to you trim the scope of your mind about what you're going to feel bad about. So I don't know. I'm kind of excited for Starfield. I just wish I had seen something in it that made me think it was an ambitious game.
Do you love Skyrim? Because if you don't love Skyrim, then like if you like it but you don't love it, then it'll be that.
I have fun in Skyrim, but it's hard for me to imagine that same amount of fun happening in Starfield.
Interesting. Okay.
I can't see where the weird is in Starfield. Skyrim is weird.
It's going to be so...
it's pretty weird when you get off the rails, right?
Oh, it's going to be so weird. Starfield's going to be so... There's going to be so many weird glitches and shit that happen. Like I know that they always want these games to carry like this gravitas of the story and stuff, but it never does.
That's where the magic is.
That's where the charm is. Yeah. So that's why, because I think of Skyrim the way I think of Starfield, and Starfield's like, oh, everyone's like, it's a new IP. I had no attachment to anything Elder Scrolls when I played Skyrim.
Yeah.
So it's all brand new to me. So I don't give a shit who the Jarl is and all this other garbage. Like that doesn't matter to me.
They talk funny.
But the game is fun.
And sometimes they like snap in half.
Yeah. Right. So I mean, like if I meet some new alien in Starfield, I don't care who it is. Like, but they're gonna snap in half and get shot into the moon, and like you're gonna be flying, and one of them is gonna hit your windshield. Like it's gonna be great.
I hope that happens.
It's gonna be great. I'm very much looking forward to all the ridiculous Bethesda bugs. And some people aren't. Some people are mad about those.
No way.
They're always mad about. They're like this game should be like it should be perfect. They've delayed it for years and like blah blah blah. Like I can't believe it's so broken. And I'm always like, who cares? It's a video game. Most video games are broken. That's like generally speaking, you get bugs. It's just part of an open world thing. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Who cares? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that you bring up a good point. I am taking all the marketing at face value, which does make it look like a pretty bland game. But
it's gonna be ridiculous.
Bethesda always markets their games as being pretty bland, and they end up being everything but, kind of by accident.
Yeah, hopefully it's got the same charm that Skyrim does, and like I know obviously New Vegas is Obsidian, but like that sort of hopefully they try and emulate that New Vegas feel, and also I mean Fallout 4 had some weirdness to it, but it wasn't weird enough,
right?
It needed a little more.
4
weird.
Was boring.
4 was relatively boring, so I feel like
worries me. Was 76 weird? I haven't gone back to it.
76 has got some. I've only played like 8 or 9 hours of it, but 76 has got some weirdness to it. Especially now, they've added weirdness back in. So I'm hoping that that's the trend. That they are like, they've saw what people remember about New Vegas and go like, all right, let's put a bunch of weird garbage in there. Because 4 was boring. But also it was fun. I mean, I played the hell out of it. I enjoyed it. So it's the weirdness is less in Fallout 4. So hopefully they crank it up for Starfield.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I worry that they've lost the
Yeah.
because I don't think the weirdness was on purpose in any of the older Bethesda games too. Their games are pretty by the book. I guess there was some funky shit in like Obsidian and Fallout 3.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. No, yeah. 3 was weird. Yeah. 3 was weird.
Yeah, there were some side quests that got a little strange.
Yeah.
Like on purpose.
Right.
And it's that, I don't know. That mix is just so powerful.
It is. It's fun. Yeah, it's fun. I think it's going to be there. I don't want it to be sterile. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, the trailer sure did make it seem like that, though. Maybe this direct. Maybe all the weirdness will kind of poke through. I'm hoping they do a demo and there's like an NPC that just won't stop saying the same thing over and over again. And then like as you walk away, they scream it louder and louder and louder.
Well, they're not going to show that, though.
I know they won't.
They're going to show you being cool.
I want them to do a live demo where it fucks up.
No.
Like perfect Bethesda fuck up.
No way. They're going to
like they're talking with a king of space and then all of a sudden like a naked woman shoots through the wall and sticks there.
Right.
And is just staring at you dead-eyed while you're trying to like talk to the space king in the back.
They're not going to. They would never show that. They're only going to show you being cool. So,
but that's not cool.
It isn't. It's true. I agree.
God, it was the most boring thing. It's like, oh, we got a hallway full of dudes.
Well, you can rely. I think you can.
Number go up.
I think you can actively rely on the fact that the game's going to be broken and it's going to have a bunch of crazy bugs that everyone posts on TikTok over and over and over. I think you could rely on that. I'll be really surprised if you can't. I know it's only on Xbox and PC, so that's going to help them.
Yeah.
But I still think it's going to be super fucking broken. And I can't wait.
Man, I hope so.
I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited for
what you step on the wrong can and then half the planet is now aggressive against you.
Right. Yeah.
Something like that.
Exactly.
I hope it's still there. I don't know though. It's fun to think about.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Speaking of wondering where the soul went.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that I'm kind of fascinated by. Did you see the Suicide Squad footage?
No. Is there gameplay?
Yeah. They showed it during the state of play. Here, I'll bring it up.
Oh, I did not actually. I didn't watch it. Everyone's been shitting on that game so hard that I've just been avoiding it.
Well, here, you can take a gander and let me know if you can figure out like what's. Well, let's see how you react.
And this is just so people are know what we're talking about. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. This is the one that everyone's like realizing it's going to be a games as a service game.
Yeah.
And like there's a battle pass and all this other garbage. That again, I feel like you can avoid if you don't pay for it. But like,
I think people just don't like what it does to the gameplay.
Yeah.
And this is something I was going to bring up in context of both Starfield and also playing a ton of Destiny 2 Lightfall lately about games that have meters that go on forever. Because I feel like Starfield's got to have infinite meters, right? It's got to have.
I mean, you could max out in Skyrim, right? Like level 100 or whatever.
Yeah, you just max out your stats. I guess you just do all the quests. You just roam around the countryside.
Wouldn't they be crazy to not like follow Skyrim more than they did follow Fallout 4? Right? They've got to. Wouldn't they go back and be like, "Hey, Skyrim is more successful. So let's try and emulate Skyrim." I don't know. Whatever. I was just thinking about it.
Yeah, maybe.
So anyway, sorry. Your meters.
Yeah,
meters go up.
Meters go up. Destiny has kind of redefined meter go up because now they give you a meter and it's like the seasonal pass thing, but player level is gone.
That's true.
Item level's there, but they've kind of standardized how item levels go up and stuff. So it's like they have to give you short and long-term goals, but they've changed where those are found and what they mean. So when you like have a game like Starfield, I feel like I associate Bethesda with that like leveling curve and getting new skills and perks and stuff like that.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But it's like you think about a space game and space is infinite. So it almost feels like
yeah, sure.
I should be able to be a spaceman, the same spaceman the whole time and always have something to do.
Good for you for thinking conceptually like that, because I just think of it as a video game.
It's No Man's Sky. That's kind of it, right?
I mean, yeah. But it's like, that's what is it, mile wide and inch deep type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what everybody sort of uses for these open world games, is that's what it is. No Man's Sky is like, oh my gosh, I can go to any planet. There are billions. And then you show up to like, let's say 100 planets. and they're all the same. Like you show up, there's some rocks, there's some creatures, and that's it. Like you found some sentries and you're going, you know, oh, okay, I'll move on to the next one, and it's all the same.
Mass Effect.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a fucking video game. Like that's the thing. Like that's the way I always think of everything. Is like people are always like you said, is like, but I want it to be infinite. It's like people say that the most about Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Where they're like, because Star Citizen really does feel like it could be infinite, but then when you play it and you realize there's only 6 planets that you can land on, then you're like, well, what? Like, wait a minute. Why am I only in this tiny little solar system? And it's because they built out a bunch
they
of
gotta make the whole thing.
Yeah, they got them, and I get it. But there's only like 7 places you can land, you know. So I don't know.
You can land anywhere.
You can land anywhere.
Just any old clump of rocks. Call it home.
But
It's yours now.
it doesn't matter because there's nobody there and there's nothing there. So you're just staring at a desert of people. Or I'm sorry, a desert of nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then if you can tell your friends to go there, but then they go there, and then when they log off, they're gone. So
you're both just standing there together
again, it's a video game
in an empty field.
Humans don't know how to make infinite video games, so we don't. There's a gameplay loop that we all follow because that's how games work.
Until AIs, Bruce.
Until AI, you're right.
Until they make the game on the fly.
You're right.
I'm waiting for. Sometimes I wonder if there's pending like existential crises waiting for folks when AI games come along. And it can just make like infinite little adventures for you to go on.
I mean, isn't that kind of like what is the name of that text-based adventure like you could do early on where you used to like type in like
something dungeon?
Open a door. Well, it's AI dungeon.
Yeah.
But even way before that, early on in like you could do text-based RPGs, and like it would say like you arrive in a cave and then you'd be like, look around the cave. Like that felt kind of infinite because you could. But then you realize you exhaust your choices and you go, all right, well, I've exhausted my choices. I've done everything that this game allows, because usually a human has to program everything. So maybe when AI starts to build that out, AI is trash right now, but in 20 years, maybe, possibly.
Ooh, you think 20 years?
I think it's going to be
emergent games
pretty long. Yeah. Because I don't necessarily think that what we have now is anywhere close to what you're talking about.
Yeah, not yet. Actually, the thing I always think about is Facade. You remember that game?
No.
It was like it's funny because I saw it all the time on Cinematech. It was like I think it was an old, I don't think it was AI powered or generative, but essentially like it was a text parser, and you went to this party with this couple who was fighting, and you could like type in things to say to try to like navigate this fight for them. But the Cinematech clips always ended up with a person getting thrown out of the party for saying something rude. So I don't know.
Wow, I don't know what that is at all.
Yeah, it was a really early like indie darling. Okay, so completely separate from that, we've been watching gameplay of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Let me also make sure I text my wife. I forgot to tell her I'm at your place.
Oh.
Because my wife is obviously at home pregnant.
Solid alibi.
So I want to make sure that I'm an alibi.
Yeah. Look, babe, it's a podcast. We did a podcast.
I mean, yeah, but it's recorded. So
yeah,
she won't see it for days.
Oh, you're telling me I need to flip it immediately, huh?
Yeah, you got to upload it now. Or let's just turn on a live stream. Let her know I'm here. Here we go. All right. Texted. There we go. Now she knows.
What do you think, Bruce?
Well, yeah.
Why are people underwhelmed by this?
I don't know.
Yeah?
I mean, like, I don't think are they underwhelmed? I think, here, I'm going to tell you this. I think that they're mad about the battle pass. I think if they had never seen the battle pass, I think they'd be like, this looks cool.
Huh. I wonder about that.
I think most people's opinions that are angry about, first of all, who is dedicating time to being angry about game trailers? Stop it. Stop. Don't do that. That's stupid. Wait until the game's out. Even then, don't be angry about it. Just be like, I'm not going to play it. Come on, guys. It's no big deal. Second of all, I think if the battle pass hadn't shown up, I think people would be like, well, fun.
Yeah.
You know?
I can understand expecting Arkham combat, even though I guess it's not an Arkham game. And it's just all the blinking and double jumping and like range.
Grappling hooks and
yeah. It's it's definitely a different flavor, I guess, for being in the Arkham universe, because it's not melee like at all. Even characters that are supposed to be melee.
Did you want it to be all melee?
I don't know that I wanted that. I didn't. Well, actually, after playing Avengers, I thought technically it wouldn't be possible, or that it's just not good. It's not good design to have a co-op game that's all melee unless it's Monster Hunter. And even then, it like moves really slow, and I think that's kind of part of the design of it.
Yeah.
Is that when you have 4 like superpowered people just going pa 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 pa, it gets a little ridiculous. So I guess Rocksteady was looking at that and found that like it makes sense if the players are further away from what they're attacking,
Right.
and then if it's all on the ground, then everyone's kind of at the same level, and it's hard to see through targets and swarms and other players. So then it's like, okay, we have to have ways for players to kind of fly around in 3D space. So it kind of makes sense, but I guess I'm curious if the juice is there.
I mean, I think this is going to be as fun or as unfun as I honestly, this looks better than Marvel's Avengers. Marvel's Avengers look like trash. I used to
like from the start.
I kept saying over and over that game was going to be garbage, and I even played through the campaign. You and I played it together, and it was just like, boy, was it bad.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my time with it occasionally.
There were a couple of good cutscenes.
Yeah.
But about halfway through the story, just like,
just felt
stopped making sense.
Yeah. I mean, this looks, again, I also had fun playing Gotham Knights, and a lot of people hated that game.
Really?
So
I never got around to trying that one.
I enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't, but it's not what people are wanting from this. They want the Rocksteady combat. They want to be Batman, but all 4 of you.
Yeah.
And that's not this.
I guess that's what it felt like, is that you would kind of like how they had those like tag team finishers and stuff in Arkham Knight. I think it was Arkham Knight. I guess the easy assumption is just based off the, like, if you just think about the concept on a page. Oh yeah, it's like 4 Batmans, except you can like tag team and hold each other's arms and legs and spiral into one giant Batman and beat people up together.
I just don't have that bias. Do you have I mean, like, I've never really played Arkham Knight or Arkham Asylum or whatever, so I just didn't have the preconceptions of those games. So when Gotham Knight showed up and everyone's like, this isn't like Arkham Knight, I was like, so what? But everybody else wanted that. So I get it. I'm probably, I guess, new to that because I just didn't play those games. So
okay.
Maybe, did you?
Oh, the Arkham games?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Did you love them?
Oh, yeah. They were super, super good.
Now, were you like upset that Gotham Knights wasn't like that?
No, not at all. Because I mean, it wasn't from Rocksteady, but I think that I was a little disappointed in this because I have a huge respect for Rocksteady, which hasn't technically been led astray yet.
It's true.
But I was kind of hoping to see.
It's true.
I was hoping to see like co-op beat 'em up stuff. I was hoping that they had found some kind of like gameplay breakthrough to make it work. Because if anyone could, I assumed it would be them. But really, it seems like they really explored it and then found out it just couldn't work or something. So now, yeah, we just have like a whole ton of ranged, which, like, if it's going to be that, it's hard for me to imagine that a games of service shooter is going to be better than like Destiny. Maybe, I don't know. That's a dumb comparison, and I guess then it really just comes down to brand.
No, yeah, I don't. There's no way they're making this game or any game to compete with Destiny.
If you want to play it forever, I'm just thinking more in terms of like a games of service action game.
What other action games of service has stuck around for as long as Destiny?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of them haven't. But
I mean,
Destiny, like I feel like it got lucky because it was so early.
Well, yeah, and
if it launched now, it probably wouldn't make it.
But and also, Bungie knows what they're doing. But like, I can't think of any game that is like this that has stuck around for more than a year or two. Like, what is a game that people still play? Are there? It's
like a co-op action game.
There's got to be one or two, but I just can't think of them offhand.
Because I mean, Hunt Showdown seemed to do okay.
Well, that's almost like a Tarkov. That's
Remnant from the Ashes.
That nobody, yeah. I feel like that's not really. People probably play it, but not many. But Remnant's maybe the closest because like Tarkov and Hunt, that's a different style of game, that looter shooters type of thing. Whereas this feels like an action RPG, like a looter action RPG. Borderlands, maybe? No.
Yeah.
Well, but Borderlands is first person.
Diablo 4 is coming out soon.
Yeah, but that's a what's it called? Isometric, yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting genre, and maybe that's part of it too with Suicide Squad. If I think about that game, but 5 years ago, like heck yeah, that seems pretty cool.
Sure.
It's weird to do a game about the like C roster, but I guess the movie and stuff has kind of made Suicide Squad a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm kind of fascinated by that in general. About like seeing something that gets a negative response and then trying to identify the elements that made it so negative.
I think it's that battle pass. I think
you're right. It primed people to be upset.
It is offensive to me to be like, hey, here's $70, but also there's a battle pass.
Man, speaking of Destiny shit.
Like that's super offensive to me because like it was the same with Battlefield 2042. Everyone, I mean, like I've been a huge Battlefield fan for years, and I always kind of been totally fine plopping down whatever it is, $80-$90 for that pre-order because I love DICE. But now 2042 has been out for a year and a half. The game's starting to turn around, and they're still being like, "Hey, buy the battle pass." I'm like, "Fuck you, dude!" Like, no, I'm not going to buy the battle, and that's my favorite franchise. So, like, no way am I going to spend money on the battle pass for Suicide Squad, right? Like, I just blew $70 on that game, so they can't ask an extra $10 for Suicide Squad, meaning 60 to 70, and then also a battle pass. That's offensive, I think, to most of us. Right?
You're right.
I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah. Would it have been offensive from day one? Or is it now more offensive because so many people have done it and it's just like exhausting?
Oh no, I don't care about exhausting.
Okay.
No.
So like Battlefront 2, is that like that still stings?
That's
about my game.
That's just it was bad.
It was bad. There was like nothing to that game.
Well, it was bad because you paid to win.
Like it was that too, yeah.
It was a straight pay to win at the beginning. But see, like, so I guess I'm different that way. I don't care about exhaustion of game mechanics. If a game is made well, it's made well. So, and I always use Blizzard, old Blizzard, as the example of that, which was I had, EverQuest was around for years and years and years. People loved it, and then they released World of Warcraft, and everyone was like, "There's no way it's gonna be better than EverQuest," and they smashed it. Okay. And that's Blizzard did the same with StarCraft and Warcraft. They copied the RTS genre and perfected it. They did the same with Overwatch. They copied the team hero shooter model from Team Fortress 2, but then they perfected it. So like, that's what they do. So it is possible to copy and make good. I just don't know. I think it's pretty hard. I think it's hard to do. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't help but muse that again, like 10 years ago, the idea of an action RPG platform that ostensibly receives new updates and stuff. It sounds like the coolest thing. I guess the problem is the updates, they're just never very good.
No, not at all.
Yeah. It's just skins.
Yeah. That's right.
That's it. Yeah.
No, you're right. And that's the problem. Is that like the Marvel's Avengers tried to do the same thing, but the game was never fun. Man,
it really has become like give the printer away to sell the ink kind of situation. You build this whole game and pack it full of content, supposedly. You sell it for $60, which is by market standards, and especially how they price additional content, way undervaluing everything on that disc. So they sell you all that stuff for $60, and then one skin is like $7. Like 10% of the price is just one digital thing.
That's a good point.
The disproportionate prices are just bananas with games. The good news is that you get most of it up front, theoretically, for relatively low money.
I mean, Suicide Squad's going to be 70, but it won't be 60. I'll be really surprised if it's 60. But I mean, hey, put it this way though, Lawrence. If they ask 40, I'd be fine with the battle pass. I'd be kind of like, okay, I'm all right with that. And the game, suffice to say, will be $40 in 3 months from its release.
Because they'll have a new season out then that's also $20 or something.
Well, and they also have to get people in. It's a drug. Like they have to. It is literally like it's just like you got to get the taste. So like all the people, we're all gonna. If you want to play it first day, we're all gonna end up paying $70. But then 2 months down the line, the game's gonna be $40.
Yeah.
So just wait it out, and then I promise you, in 2 months' time, we'll be able to tell you whether or not it's worth playing.
Yeah. Play anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
Thousands of games in the backlog.
Right.
Speaking of getting people in, giving away a taste, I thought this was pretty cool. There were a couple of demos I played in the last month that I thought did it really neat and it's fun to see it finally get there. It was Theater Rhythm Barline, that Final Fantasy rhythm game.
I've heard of it. I know what you're talking about.
It had a pretty wild demo. They gave away like 30 songs or something, which is almost the like how much used to be in old rhythm games in total.
Oh, wow.
So you had all that. Your save files would carry over. What I thought was extra cool is after you played a couple of stages, it would hit you with like, and look at, here's a trailer for this cool feature that's going to be in the full game. And you could just skip it, but it would just like play this really happy, engaging kind of 30-second sizzle reel of the coming game, and then hit you with a link to go buy it. But then you could go back and keep playing, and there was actually a fair amount of stuff to play.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, they made this whole like platform basically to guide people into buying and giving away a lot of the game for free. And I just liked the little like hits of advertising between it. So that was neat.
That is cool.
There's also, we actually read about this in the digest, Figment. It's like this really surrealistic isometric action game. The description really appealed to me, especially the musical boss fights. So I looked up the original, and they're actually giving it away. They're just straight up like, we're giving the first one away.
Is it like an episode, or is it a...
No, it's just like a full game. Figment 1, they're giving away to promote Figment 2.
There we go. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Figment 2 is what did come out this week.
Got it. All right.
So yeah, on Steam and also Good Old Games, you could just get it. So I got it, and I played it a little bit, and I was like, cool. I'm even more interested in the sequel now. And when I went to quit, it hit me with the trailer for Figment 2.
Of course, yeah.
And a little link to go to the store. And I was like, oh, yeah. Okay. That's cool. So I don't know. Those were cool, like, marketing bits that were essentially like, just give me the thing and let me decide if I want to buy it.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
I wanted to shout that out.
Steam has been doing that a lot with, I mean, like, I don't know. We could go on and on about great indies on Steam, but like, there are lots of really cool indies that will release demos for their game. And then you play like an hour or two of it, and you're like, wow, this is great. And you go look on Steam, and it's like $10. So you're like, well, of course. Like, yeah, I'll go throw them $10. Good example of that is a game I've been playing called Contraband Police. Contraband Police is like, basically the premise is you are a border cop, but in a fictional communist country. It's like Papers, Please.
Okay.
But it's first person. And I saw a few streamers playing it, like I saw Robaz and Tomato playing it, and they usually play pretty like ridiculous games. So I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And the game is so much better than it has any right to be. And there's a free demo on Steam, so you can play an hour and a half of it or whatever, and then be like, okay, how much is it? It's $18. So I was like, yeah, no, it's like, and I'm having a blast. I played 6 hours of it, and it's rad, and those abound on Steam. So I know if you're not a PC gamer, I'm sorry. But also at the same time, all that stuff is there. So that's another reason that whenever I see people complaining about console games like Suicide Squad, I was like, dude, I played Vampire Survivors for 40 hours and paid $250 for it or whatever it was. So I don't know. I mean, I'll just go back to Steam. But maybe if you don't have that, sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Get a Steam Deck, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's really hard to get mad about Suicide Squad. I just like tracking the emotional reaction to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Me too. I love watching that.
There's so much good shit out there.
Yeah.
It's again one of the things I never thought would happen, that there'd be more good games than I can even mentally keep track of, as opposed to not even being able to like afford or buy the few that are out.
That's right.
It's good stuff.
Way back when you were a kid.
Yeah. Speaking of way back when I was a kid, I wanna bring out some nostalgias. Some old man thinks. Counter-Strike 2 is apparently, Counter-Strike Global Offensive beta on the Source 2 engine.
Sure.
Big asterisk. Very important to get that right. Apparently that's happening. So I was just curious, Bruce, do you have a strong memory associated with Counter-Strike? I'm pretty sure you do.
Oh my gosh, I have so many.
Yeah?
So many. I mean, like, there's a couple of Counter-Strike memories that I can't say, because they're either full of rage or other things surrounding them that I don't ever want to talk about on podcasts.
I think I can understand that.
Because like, it's the same with Overwatch. I have the same issues with like, I have memories of those games where I'm just like, man, I was not happy playing those games. Why did I play them so often? You know? And Counter-Strike I played, I'll tell you, here's a good memory. Counter-Strike memes are the best. Here's a good memory. So I played 1.6.
This might be too distracting.
I played 1.6 a lot. and and I love it. It's so good. And 1.6 is like, that's like when Counter-Strike was still a mod.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, that's Counter-Strike was one of the, I want to say 3 games that got me into PC gaming back in 2001. My friend who had a PC, he played Tribes, EverQuest, and Counter-Strike.
Damn, that's a loadout.
And we used to do the trading on his seat. So like he'd play a death and I'd play a death, and he'd play a death and I'd play a death, the Counter-Strike. Because when you die, then you got like 5 minutes to trade. Because the matches take forever. Yeah. So like I have lots of good memories about playing. I'm like, dude, LAN parties and shit. Oh my gosh. We played Counter-Strike LAN parties in 1.6. And I think maybe even Source. I'm not sure when Source came out, but it's I have another good story for you too. I working at G4 in 2004 when I first started there. There was a ridiculous award show called G4ia. You know what it is.
Big fan.
And I had to work it because I was like a production assistant. So I was there, and I met, gosh, what was his name? Because I think he still works there at Valve. But I met one of the guys because I was like, oh, where do you work? And he's like, and again, this is like tiny little Bruce who's just started in the video game industry. And I was like, oh, where do you work? And he's like, oh, I work at Valve. And I was like, oh, cool, man. Like, what do you do? And he's like, oh, like I work on Counter-Strike. And I was like, oh, I play that all the time. It's such a great game. Great job. And he's like, we started talking a little bit, and he's like, yeah, like, they hired me after I wrote the mod. And I was like, you wrote the mod? You helped write Counter-Strike?
You talked to Mr. Counter-Strike?
And I forget, his first name was Doug, I want to say.
Doug Strike.
And I was like, you wrote, and you got hired because you wrote the mod? And he's like, yeah, that's what happened. And I was like, because that's what happened. He's right. I went and looked, and they wrote the Counter-Strike mod, and then Valve hired the guys that wrote it.
They did that with Dota too, right?
That's right. And I was like, holy shit, dude. So like, I just didn't realize who I was talking to until years later. I was like, dude, that guy is a legend.
Video game royalty.
Yeah, absolutely. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's my memory's not quite so good, but it is.
Oh, well, yeah. When I hear
heartfelt.
It, yeah.
We'll all remember how we rang in the millennium, year 2000.
2000, of course. Yeah.
And for me, it was playing Counter-Strike. Yeah.
There you go.
December 31st, 1999. I was in my bedroom.
Were you getting kills?
Oh, yeah.
Headshots?
There were headshots, Bruce. Let me tell you that. Somebody's head was getting shot over and over again. Yeah, scores were rising.
Oh, yeah?
I'll say that much.
All right.
But yeah, I remember kind of like, I'm deep into my matches.
Of course.
The heart rate has spiked a couple times.
Absolutely.
The adrenaline
energy drinks,
pounding my
soda
adrenal
everywhere,
glands.
probably.
I wasn't really, probably a lot of soda.
Yeah.
I wasn't really on energy drinks yet.
Yeah.
And I remember my parents were downstairs playing dominoes with like some church friends.
They were playing their Counter-Strike and you were playing yours.
That's true. Mine was way cooler though. I was living the cyber age. But I do remember at some point just being real salty, and as the like clock was ticking towards Y2K, and thankfully the human race has massively leapt ahead in intelligence since then. But there was a superstitious belief that all of the world's systems would catch on fire.
That's right.
The moment the clock switched over into 2000.
I mean, people thought planes were going to crash and fall out of the air and stuff.
Financial systems would crash. There were doomsday preppers going nuts. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So in the back of my head, I was like, you know what? If my PC explodes and grinds to a halt, then I won't have to play Counter-Strike anymore.
Is that bad or good?
It doesn't seem so bad.
Oh, it doesn't seem so bad.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was like, if my computer just decides to like flick out, I'll be fine. But it didn't. It kept going, and I kept playing.
Yeah,
Counter-Strike.
Did anybody talk about it in the voice chat? Did you guys like? Do you remember any screen names you were with, or were you guys like, oh shit, like our computer's still going? Did that happen, or did literally nobody bat an eye?
I don't think anyone batted an eye. I think it was just another day.
That's amazing. Everyone was so stoned playing Counter-Strike that it didn't matter.
Yeah, nobody knew.
Wow.
I think I said something in chat, and somebody else said one thing, and then just
right back to it.
Just running down the same hallway, throwing the grenade exactly like you do every other time. Standing in one spot and then getting shot.
Oh man. Boy, some things never change, Lawrence.
No. This is fishing. I just realized.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
You just cast your line and you wait.
Because they're always there. They're always there in that one little spot there. Always there.
Always peeping. God, Dust 2.
Counter-Strike, I mean, like, I was telling you, I think I told you this off content, but I was like, now that Counter-Strike 2 is a thing, I was like, fuck, I have to play. Like, I have to go and stream it.
Yeah.
And I gotta talk to my friend APL. You know APL.
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Because APL's honestly, he's like a Counter-Strike god. He's been playing Counter-Strike for years. He's so good at it. So like, I hopefully will be able to hop on with him and play a little bit. But like, I'm just gonna go on and get headshot 1,000 times.
Yep.
And then people in chat are gonna be like, "Man, you're bad at this." And
That
it's like,
fucking sound effect.
No fucking shit, dude. Like, I haven't been playing Counter-Strike for 5,000 hours. Like, I know that there are other people better. I don't know if their matchmaking is any better than it was or whatever, but it's just always the same thing. Like, and that's okay. If you like it, just do it. But it's always the same. I mean, Valorant is exactly this. I don't know if you played Valorant.
No, because I didn't like Counter-Strike.
It's this, except that there are hero abilities.
Yeah, you have magic powers.
That's all.
I have a wizard staff and an AK.
So you just have to make sure that you don't peek like that guy did and get shot over and over. Like, it's just like the same.
If you're not peeking, what are you doing?
It's the same shit, dude.
Tell me how to play Counter-Strike, Bruce.
I can't. I'm not. I'm not the right person to tell you how to play.
I there's a block in my head. I just can't get around games that involve passivity as like an important factor.
Well,
Halo fucks me up that way.
Oh yeah.
Any MOBA, any game where
Yeah.
it's important to do nothing for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just like, give me something to do. It's a game. I should be doing something. And then that always gets me into trouble.
That's because COD's the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
COD, you're just running straight ahead with a knife and a gun and firing at anything.
Yeah.
You never stop. And you're always running in a circle because the spawns change.
Yeah.
Whereas Counter-Strike's the opposite. Some people like this. Some people like the cat and mouse game and all that other stuff. And I think you do once you get in the flow of it, because there's a literal rhythm to this. Yeah. Like it's a kind of like a rhythm game where the more you play the maps, the more you start to realize where people will end up, and you shoot in that area, you pre-fire or whatever. So, you ever want to be a Counter-Strike expert?
It really is just learning the rhythms enough, and then it's like rock, paper, scissors at that point. You just guess what people are going to do.
Well, and also hit your shots. So you have to be accurate.
Well,
I know. I know.
Jeez.
You got to be accurate. I mean, like,
We're asking for a lot here.
That's another thing too. Like that's, so you can know them. Like that's something I always say about myself when it comes to battle royales is like, I have relatively good strategy outlook on a battle royale. Like I kind of know what to do. That doesn't mean I can execute. So I know where to go and kind of when to fire and who and why and all other stuff. But hitting the shots is an entirely different thing, and I can't do that. And Counter-Strike, it means the most. So you got to hit your shots, or else that's it. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you're not hitting the headshot, you're fucked.
I guess that's really it. Yeah. I guess the lower the TTK is.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The more important accuracy becomes.
Yeah.
And I always played Counter-Strike on dial-up. That might be part of it.
Oh shit, nice. Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
I remember it was usually like 350, 400 ping. So yeah, Counter-Strike to me was just you had to mail order all your moves. It was silly.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that game took off when it did, honestly. I guess it was just at the rise of like high-speed internet, but
it was, yeah.
It was just ridiculous.
But also, you're right though. Like it's from a different era, so it's slower because that's how games were back then.
That's true.
So maybe it's just I think it's just a holdover because Valve has managed to maintain it for so long. And they've done a great job with that. So I don't think it's ever going away. I think Counter-Strike will always be there. So
yeah. Interesting stuff. All right, let's keep strolling down memory lane.
Oh man, that was fun.
This is a quick one.
That was fun
and a bit sad. Toru Okada, the creator of PlayStation's legendary sound.
Oh, the sound.
Is it the Bwonk or is it the Wom Wom? Let's see. Age 73. Brisk fuzzy ping.
Brisk fuzzy ping. Oh, that.
Okay, they're advertising Chonk.
I do love that sound. Yeah, I love that sound.
It's very like fuzzy and whiffly. Well, I thought it was going to be the PlayStation boot, like the THX sound.
No, yeah.
I don't know, Bruce. Do you have a memory associated with the PlayStation chunky sound?
Bad news. I don't.
Oh.
Because I've said this before. I'll say it again. I didn't have a PlayStation until PlayStation 4. So PS2 is the highest selling console of all time, and I didn't own one, and none of my friends did. So like it was weird. I was in a weird little PlayStation bubble where nobody had that stuff. So I just didn't play those games that everybody played, and I clearly missed out because everyone raves about it. So
I wonder, Bruce. That was an interesting time though, because PC games were a solid like 10 years ahead of what was going on console.
They were, because I was playing them.
Yeah. I mean, in the late, you had like Deus Ex on PC.
Yeah, I was playing them.
In the late 90s, and PlayStation 2 games were not. I mean, I think they tried to port Deus Ex to PS2, but that didn't go very well. Yeah. No, there's a difference in like the scope and mind space of games at the time. But there was some really good shit on PS2.
Well,
that's for sure.
I'm sure you've got a, because you probably had a PlayStation 2, right?
I did.
Yeah.
That was when I had a job, so I was able to start getting my own stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3. Oh baby.
See, that Metal Gear, I haven't played any of them, and I need to. It's one of my things. Once they remaster them, remake them, whatever, I'm gonna play them. But I haven't played the original ones at all.
I think you would really like it.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Three soundtrack is outrageous, and it's so cinematically reverent, and I think you would get a lot of the, like it's just so washed in like 60s spy thriller.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
That it's a fun ride. Yeah, there's some stuff in there that you might enjoy.
What about? Do you have any like memories of being I mean, I'm not a kid even really, but just more of like, you said you had a job and you were playing PlayStation all the time.
Yeah, it was like a split between school, work, and video games.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, gosh, that was. It's not hard in retrospect to figure out why I developed such an affection for video games. Because yeah, my family life wasn't doing super well, so I could just cocooning up in my room and keeping all that stuff out and going to fantastical worlds. It sounds awfully depressing to put it like that, but
well, that's what people do though.
Yeah, that's absolutely what it was.
Yeah.
And also just growing up in a small town, like that's the window to worlds that you'll never get to see in your daily life. So as far as this particular sound though, it kind of reminds me of rich people TV, if that makes sense. Like I would never hear this in my daily life because ads for PlayStation didn't really play on the TV networks that I watched.
Got it.
My family didn't buy cable, so we had over-the-air TV, and this was in like the 2000s.
That's an antenna. In case people are wondering.
Yep. It was metal stuck into the sky.
Yeah.
And the reception wasn't even good because we lived in the middle of nowhere.
You probably get like 4 channels or something?
It was more like 10 on a good day.
All right. You got the networks.
Yes. Yeah. VHF and UHF.
Yeah.
Again, some of the time. But so yeah, and then all the shows that they would play wouldn't really be like high dollar shows to appeal to like yuppies of the early 2000s.
Right.
So there weren't just a whole lot of ads for game consoles or video games in general. So I don't know. What's weird to me now is I'll go back and watch blocks of ads from that time and see all these products that should have been targeted towards me, but I was misdemographicked as being in rural Texas. And that they probably thought that not only did my family have the disposable income for that stuff, but there'd be no interest in it in the first place.
Makes sense.
So yeah, when I watch this stuff, I'm like, man, it reminds me of going to my friends' houses when they would have cable.
Right.
And I'd be like, whoa, they get all the cool stuff advertised to them.
That's funny because you're just a couple of years behind me. So, because I was like a little older than you, just by a few years. And because I was the same way. Like we were so poor, we didn't have cable. But this was that was early 90s. So we were like early to mid 90s is when like the internet was just coming into play around the time that I was like 15 or 16. So at that point in time, I was fine. Like I got a job and was able to be like, hey, I'll pitch in to buy a 56K modem or whatever it was. But I completely bypassed PlayStation because I went with Nintendo 64.
Oh, wow.
So I stuck with Nintendo and just didn't buy a PlayStation. So that was another reason I missed it too.
I did that too.
So.
Yeah. I asked for that for Christmas I was pretty indoctrinated at the time. They got me.
What, Nintendo?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That was Apple. Nintendo's Apple, like back then, especially because you were all only in the Nintendo ecosystem and had been for years because I had the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So, well, the next one's the 64.
Yeah.
So you got to buy the 64. So I did.
It's going to be even better.
Yeah.
Forever and ever. All right, let's see what else I got on the old notes here. Oh, yeah, okay. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, there's Elden Ring DLC coming. That's just exciting in general.
That's very exciting. And we don't have a release date, right?
No, we don't have anything. Just a Shadows of the Erd Tree logo.
Cool.
Oh yeah, and I was just going to read down some of the releases coming this month. See if there's anything you're excited about. Wolong Fallen Dynasty came out this last week.
Did you play it?
I actually just started it. Yeah.
What'd you think?
I really, really enjoy it.
You're playing with a controller, right?
Yeah.
I played on mouse and keyboard, which was it's horrendous.
You're a purist. Yeah, I can't imagine it being.
It's horrendous, and actually, like, it's not horrendous because it's on mouse and keyboard. It's just horrendous because the game design isn't meant for that. So, like Elden Ring, actually, I played on mouse and keyboard the whole time, and it worked fine. But Wolong is not. I got used to it actually, and ended up kind of enjoying it toward the end. I played about 4 hours of it on mouse and keyboard and got used to it, but it wasn't good. That said, though, the game itself was kind of fun.
Yeah,
enjoy it.
I really appreciate that it's starting to abstract out what a lot of the numbers and mechanics mean in games like that. Like, you don't really have a player level anymore. You have morale, right?
Oh yeah,
and it's just a number that tells you how strong you are relative to enemies, and that's all it means.
Yeah.
But it goes up by killing dudes. It goes down by dying. So it is kind of like experience.
It's true.
You also use it to do abilities and like magic spells and stuff, or you use spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like magic points. It's just a resource you build up by attacking, and then you spend it by using stuff. So it seems to have taken all the little bits of other games and all the systems they have, like currencies and experience points, and just sort of taken out the middleman. Now we're just making the action that you perform tied directly to the mathematic representation of it.
But there are also skill trees too.
Yeah, that's true.
So you also have skill points that you got to put into skill trees.
That's true. There's still currency you spend on levels and stuff.
Yeah, so it's like it was a combination of both, and actually that's kind of what felt a little confusing to me is that, like, because you're actually the way you describe it is awesome, because you're like, it sounds like it's all pretty it's all based on what you're doing at the time, but there are also permanent skill points and skill trees.
Yeah.
So then you also have to maintain those, and so to me it's like, well, then now I got to maintain two things. I got to maintain the skill points that are happening, or the morale that's happening during when I'm playing, and then also the skill points that are, whatever. It's cool. It's a cool game. I think it's fun. It's very much like Sekiro, Elden Ring, those sorts of games. But it's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see all the fucked up monsters.
Yeah,
just messed up dudes.
Cool design.
Yeah,
really cool design.
That's almost what I enjoy playing those games for, is the weird environments and the messed up bosses.
Yeah.
That have like 12 eyes on stalks that are all vomiting acid.
Right. Yeah, that's cool.
We got the RE4 remake, Resident Evil 4.
I've been it's weird. I'm not.
Do you remember how cool Leon is? That's question number one.
I played Resident Evil 4, I think on GameCube. Was it on GameCube?
Yeah.
I think I played it on GameCube, and again, this is one of those things where it sort of passed me by. I think I might have played it and was like, neat. And then years later, everyone's like, it's the greatest video game that has ever been made. And I was like, Resident Evil 4? I mean, like, it was good, but the best? And everyone's like, oh, that's so good. So now I'm buying into the hype, and I'm actually really excited for the remake. I mean, I'm really looking forward to playing it. So I hope it's great. I do. I don't know. So
I hope it's good too. I mean, I think it will be. Capcom's been doing pretty well in remakes lately.
Yeah, I was going to say, I also don't think it can fail because it was already a good game. It was the same with like Dead Space.
That just means the expectations are super high though, Brett.
I guess.
Super high.
But if they don't like deviate from the formula, it'll work. It was the same with Dead Space. Like Dead Space was already awesome. So then when they remade the game, they just put little things on top of it, and it was awesome. So I don't think they can fail unless they change a bunch of stuff, which they're not going to do for a remake, right?
No.
They
only add stuff.
Yeah.
I just, man, I hope Leon's dumb. He's so dumb. God bless. Love that stupid idiot.
Of course he is, yeah.
Last of Us 1 PC, the remake.
I don't care.
Coming out. Yeah.
I don't care at all. No. What are you kidding me? That's like, what is this? Is this the $70 one?
Yeah.
Why do I find this one so offensive? This is like the fourth time they've released The Last of Us 1. Last of Us original.
It was on PS3. Then they released it on PS4. Then there's the remake
on 5, and then they released it on PC.
And then on PC.
So that'd be 4 times.
And then the PS4 version was playable on PS5 and still is. I think.
Okay. So you could have bought the PS4 version, but they call it The Last of Us Remake?
Remastered.
Remastered. Yeah. That's what it was. Because that's the one I think I played on PS4. But yeah, then they've made it nicer or whatever for $70, right?
I think so.
Are you excited for this?
No.
Okay, all right.
I'm kind of checked out of that.
Are you watching the
brand.
show?
No.
The show's pretty solid, actually.
Yeah. My wires are a bit twisted. Like, I liked the story of Last of Us 1 pretty okay. It's more the gameplay that was a bit frustrating. It was on a PS3. I actually put it up to performance more than anything else. It just was not fun to try to shoot at zombie dudes while they're skittering around while the game's running at like 10 FPS.
Yeah, that's true.
Last of Us 2, the story was what's the word? Miserable?
Absolutely.
And it's that way on purpose.
I played all the way through it, and it is miserable.
Yeah.
Like, it is like I could go on forever about Last of Us 2 because people talk about this game as one of the greatest games of all time, and I'm like, this is like, the narrative is so drawn out that it makes me feel like garbage 15 hours in, and then there's another 15 hours. And I'm like, why would I ever want to do this? Why am I putting myself through this? It's like watching a terrible television show and then realizing there's another 40 hours left.
Yeah. That was basically my feeling as well.
Yeah.
I was hoping that, I think if you're very generous with it, the characters do offer some kind of insight and commentary into the process of grief and the cycle of stuff.
They do.
But you have to be pretty generous, I think. But by the end of it, I got exhausted and a little bit like offended that like the same thing kept getting shoved in my face. I felt like the game didn't respect my intelligence. And then also tried to trick me by the end of it.
That's a great way to, because that's exactly how I felt. Yeah, now that I think about it, because like I was thinking to myself, they could have made this narrative 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
We get it. Violence is bad. Like I understand, and I have had so many fanboys be like, Bruce, you missed this, and Bruce, you missed this, and Bruce, and I was like, no, I didn't miss it. I heard it. I know that it exists, but the overarching narrative there is that one of, violence begets violence. Mm-hmm. It is. And that's okay. I don't need 30 hours of it though.
Yeah.
So,
and that I guess some people have the capacity to use their free will to change that cycle.
Absolutely.
And some people do not, which is kind of a bummer.
Do people not know that? Isn't that common sense?
I'll say that those kind of themes are rarely explored in a game, but usually when they're explored in a game, there's usually like some kind of something being said instead of just sort of wallowing in it.
But isn't it weird to play through 30 hours of the game that says violence begets violence and that's bad, to be violent for 30 hours?
Yeah.
To me, that's weird.
Well, it's weird.
Isn't it? Because like
you're forcing the player to be party to that thing that the game is also telling you is wrong and bad.
So here's in my opinion, here's the master, what's the word? Here's what would have been masterful with that game if you could have played it as a pacifist. I know it sounds ridiculous, but if you could have gotten through it with the least amount of violence or no violence at all, but I don't think that's possible. So, because the reason is then you can actually express the morals of the game. But you have to go through and kill a bunch of people and kill dogs and all the bullshit that you got to do to get to the end of the game to tell you, hey, violence is bad.
Yeah.
So
I'm down with like forcing the player to do uncomfortable things as part of a greater narrative.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if the point is we want you to feel as like trapped as Ellie does in her PTSD, okay. But I don't know. To me, that was never paid off, especially because the ending was as open-ended as it was. It was like trying to be all hard and gritty, and then it made very sure to leave the threads open for a part 3. So almost on a philosophical level, and this is when I overthink things, is it raised such a storm about being so different from your typical capitalist entertainment product.
Oh, did it?
I think so. I think
okay.
Philosophically it does that by trying to tackle these issues and also wallowing in misery like it does. So it's like it's very upfront about this isn't about being fun. It's about exploring art. And then the ending has the most open-ended, vague, like your favorite characters might return in part 3. See you next time. $70. Thank you. I don't know. To me, that was like, okay, you're playing it both ways. You're trying to be high art, but then everything about your ending is bent towards this being an ongoing media empire. Which and I've brought this up before, but I actually, when I think about it that way, I apologize if I've even said this on a podcast before, but in that respect, I actually like Last Jedi a lot.
Oh,
because
sure.
it inverted all of the capitalist entertainment shit and then absolutely fucked the trilogy.
It
was like it didn't just play nice at the end. It was like, no, you misunderstood. I'm burning this down.
I know.
So okay, all right. At least it was consistent.
Boy, I'm telling you what, you're making a lot of people upset that we're shitting on The Last of Us Part 2, and then you're saying you like The Last Jedi.
I got to roll back to it. So my point was, I actually liked playing The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay,
but I didn't like the story. So
yeah, me too.
I would,
me too.
If I could roll back time, I would watch The Last of Us 1 show and play The Last of Us 2, skipping all the cutscenes. I think that's the way to experience The Last of Us.
Wow.
That's the way to get both parts as good as possible.
There's going to be so many people angry in the comments.
Oh, they won't make it all this way into the podcast.
You're probably right.
But hey, if you're mad about either of our characterizations, let us know. And if it can totally be like I've never felt anything like that before The Last of Us. If you have, that's fine.
Oh, absolutely. No, and that's what if you vibe with Last of Us, great. Like vibe with it, man. Like I think maybe Lawrence and I we've experienced other narratives that, like for me, I've experienced other narratives that are very similar to this. So it's nothing new to me. Maybe the newness is in the gameplay. But if you love it, dude, love it. I want you to love it. I want you to love Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2 and say it's the greatest game ever made. I want you to do that.
All right. Well, look forward to Last of Us 1 Remake PC coming out in March. Crime Boss, Rockhay City.
I don't know what this is.
This is like Vice City knockoff that has what's his name? It's got the guy, the gravelly voice guy. Shoot, he was Bud in Kill Bill.
Michael Madsen.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I was thinking Mads Mikkelsen, and that's the wrong.
What is this? What are you talking about?
Okay, hold on. I'll bring it up. You don't. This was in one of the like.
What is this shit?
What?
Oh, I think I do remember this.
What? I'm trying to remember what.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be trash.
I'm excited for it.
Hey, it's Michael Rooker.
Yeah, they got a lot of talent, and it seems to be like it's a Vice City knockoff.
Is this an open world thing?
It seems to be.
Oh my! This is gonna be so glitchy and broken. I'm probably gonna play the shit out of this.
I'm excited for it. There hasn't been any buzz about it because I think we as gamers have forgotten how awesome Kim Basinger is in it. We've forgotten how awesome games can be when they just throw a bunch of budget at something, and hopefully get like a half execution.
See these games can go one of two. Danny Glover. These games can go one of two ways. They can go like really boring.
Yeah.
Which is like the way action movies will go. Sometimes they're like really boring, and then you're just like, well, there's nothing in it. Or they can be insane, and then they're really fun because they're wild, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? So hopefully it's that.
I hope. Oh, Chuck Norris.
Whoa, Chuck Norris.
Fast and Furious Supercharged was awesome. I don't care who knows it. And yeah, actually, now that I think about it, there's no open world footage in that.
Is this on PC?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
First 15 minutes exclusive game. Maybe it's kind of like a first person Saints Row or something.
I hope it's like, because I mean, Saints Row is the brokenest shit I ever played, and I loved it. This is wild. Thanks for reminding me of this, because I'll play this.
Yeah, no worries. I've been looking forward to this. I like bombastic games. We lost some of them. Speaking of throwback, I've been playing through Sin. So
oh yeah,
I remember a long time ago on a little channel called Inside Gaming. Y'all
way
played,
back. Sin episodes Emergence. Right?
Yeah. I never played through the first game, and this is important because our hero, Colonel John R. Blade, is coming back.
That's right.
Coming back in video game form.
To what?
Whatever the Ion Fury sequel's called.
What? Ion Fury?
Yeah, Phantom Fury. Hold on a minute.
What the fuck is Ion Fury?
Ion Fury. Oh boy. Ion Fury was a game made by 3D Realms. Like, it was basically a modern Duke Nukem 3D, but with a babe. And Bombshell is her name instead of Duke Nukem. Yes. But yeah, it was like
Sick.
It's basically a mid 90s cyberpunk DOS shooter.
Okay.
But in modern times.
All right.
And in our modern landscape. Anyway, Phantom Fury is the sequel to that game. And it's going to have John Blade.
Does that come out soon?
Soonish? I don't remember which trailer has John Blade in it.
This is going to be really boring too, isn't it?
Boring? No. So if Phantom Fury was Duke Nukem 3D, or sorry, if Ion Maiden was Duke Nukem 3D, this is going to be the Duke Nukem forever. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting, Bruce?
But I mean, I hear you.
There might be little like chalkboards you can dick around with in the levels, and
Chalkboards.
you can flush toilets. Remember that? Remember when that was the coolest thing you could do in a video game is flush a toilet?
I do actually. Yeah.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
No, this is going to be. Yeah, this might be bad.
What do you mean? Oh, we haven't gotten to the part where it shows John Blade yet. I also learned a couple things about John Blade, because if you read the manual, there's a part that's his diary where he's like writing down
Our cool action hero has a diary.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And he puts little sketches in it and stuff and talks about how mad he is when he gets bullied. It's not a joke. He like got bullied and then had to go work out because he was so worked up. But I learned that John Blade's mom died in a fire. So he had a nightmare about his like charred up mom talking to him on his bedside. She died saving lives, Bruce. A saint.
Was she killed by somebody bad who has to go kill?
Mama Blade. Maybe. I'm glad you asked, because there's
got to be some sort of revenge story, right?
The diary does imply there was foul play afoot, but it doesn't really put it on who.
There's always revenge. There's always revenge stories, and like these action movies live on the revenge trope.
Well, I mean, there's a movie too. There's like an animated Sin feature that came out in the late 90s, I think.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, this is all important because it's important to study up on this lore because John Blade is back. That's the important part.
Is it co-op? Can we play together?
No, I think this is going to be just a single player old game.
That's too bad.
Where's John Blade? Damn it.
Yeah, we never showed him.
Maybe he's the after credits thing.
It's weird. Because,
there he is.
Oh, there he is.
Yes.
It's weird. I was going to say that. Oh, they did the action figure or the fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger thing.
The Predator bicep.
Yeah, the
clone.
Predator handshake.
Oh, and this was totally an accident, but I actually accidentally got some. Oh, look at he's got his gun. Oh, yeah. That's the Sin gun. How cool is that?
What kind of gun? What kind of glasses?
I had to order these from Alibaba. It took me a while to find a supplier that would ship them to me in a lot less than 200. But I did eventually find somebody who would sell me 2 of them. So I don't know where the other one went.
No, you look great.
Steph?
No, she's asleep.
Where did my other cyber glasses go? Well, I just realized, Bruce, this would look extra cool if you had a pair, but I don't know where.
It would look really cool, but you know what? We'll
Maybe
save that
time.
for the next episode.
Speaking of, I think that concludes the first Inside Gamescast.
That's right. We did it. We made it through.
We did. Thanks everybody for listening or watching, whatever you chose to do.
Can you see through those?
Not well. They're also kind of like not.
Yeah, they're lopsided.
Yeah, they didn't come pre-adjusted for my face, which feels a little wrong because you think as soon as I put them on, they should just sort of bind to me.
Because they're made of nanobots.
A Spider-Man symbiote. I'm tired of nanobot suits, man.
Why?
Like halfway through Marvel, I was like, "What's the fucking point?" Jeez, if they're just going to have them like Power Ranger morph, that's stupid. I like the mechanics of a superhero having to change clothes.
Oh, that's never going to happen again. No, we got nanobots, man. That's the future.
That sucks. That sucks. That's a dumb vision of the future. I was excited for Marvel films to essentially set the like pop art idea of what science fiction looks like. Mm-hmm. And it turns out it's a line that like goes straight and then angles up at 45 and then goes straight again. That's 1. And then 2 is a blue cloud of nanobots. That's
Lawrence,
it. That's all we get.
We should save this for the bonus podcast. We should tease to it right now.
You're right. That's Bruce. That's excellent marketing.
We should tease.
I'm going to continue yelling about nanobots in our Patreon exclusive bonus cast, which is, well, I guess we're going to do it right now, but it's up to you if you listen to it. If you're already a patron, check it out. And if you're not, consider supporting Inside Games through Patreon. All right, we'll see you next month. Bye, everybody.